It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Pocket Party.
We're walking, we're getting closer, and there's a nice, and I go, looks like there's one of those black dogs. And he was like sitting up, perched up, if you could picture, he's sitting straight up, just looking at us, getting closer. And as we got closer, he went,
oh no.
There's another black dog, and the other black dog was more aggressive.
Oh no.
The other black dog, both his ears went straight up on top of his head.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a Pocket Party. Pocket Party. They're wrong.
And we're back, episode 316, 316. Big shout out to all the good listeners out there. Thank you so much, Christopher McCrae. We've got Cindy Larson. We have Dave Smith. David, how are you, David? Thank you so much. And we got Casey out in Texas with her friend Alexis in Texas. It's a rhyme. It actually, these are real people, folks. I know it sounds like a joke, you know. I got, Lulu in Honolulu. But it's really, there's Alexis in Texas and Casey in Texas as well. And our guest today is former NYPD cop, Mr. John DiResta. Went on to have his own sitcom. He's been in a bunch of movies, and he's the guest today. So what do you know? John, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, you're on the air with the Pocket Party family.
Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Darren, nice to speak to you.
Nice to speak to you, man. Before we get into it, how's life? How's everything going? How you doing?
I'm okay, thank God. I'm 60 years old. I have a couple of medical things wrong with me, but I'm up and running. I'm doing some stand-up shows. I'm making a lot of furniture, and now I'm helping out a lot of fire victims. I bet you never thought of that.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, because Altadena and Malibu and all that, and the Palisades.
A lot of people are they kind of hit me up for, like, inexpensive furniture for their rental. I haven't made anything real big and expensive, but, it's people like, we need a desk, we need a bench, we need a coffee table, and I give them a big discount.
You've had multiple lives. I was thinking about this. Like, you started out in life, like, I guess just, like, not on the wrong foot, but like, your dad was a firefighter, and you guys sound like you guys had a nice, happy home with mom and dad and the 4 kids, and then you kind of got into the pot and the drinking, and didn't you even left New York and kind of lost direction, and we're hanging out on the beach, and then one day I guess you joined the police academy. You're like, well, this is an option.
Well, Darren, you're funny. I never really thought of it that way, and it's my life, but you're right.
Yeah.
I got kicked out of New Paltz College in 82. I dropped out of Nassau Community College in Long Island, the local 13th grade.
Yeah.
And I moved to Huntington Beach, California, and drank and did drugs for 6 months on the beach and worked as a laborer in Newport, $5 an hour carrying sheetrock.
Yeah.
And my dad, I was literally in Newport on a payphone, I think. And my dad said, I registered you for the New York City police exam. You're going to come home sooner or later in your life. Come home now and get a good job. And I got very excited out of nowhere to be a cop. I bought into it. I was going to grow a mustache and get a flannel shirt. I was going to have a partner named Mike. We were going to go on vacation together.
Because you were thinking of like the TV cops, I would have
been. Oh, dude, 1,000%. I did the medical, the physical, the psych. I lost the weight. I stopped doing pot. I did everything. And I got assigned to the New York City Transit Police in the subway. It was such a letdown.
That's funny you say that, because to me, I grew up on the West Coast, so I'm like, a cop is a cop is a cop in New York. But I realize there's different divisions, I guess. And the subway is something you're like, you're not cruising around with a partner named Mike. You're like by yourself.
You're not cruising, dude. You work alone. You don't even have a partner. Imagine being put into the subway of New York in a police uniform, 21 years old, and you don't even know what the next stop is. If you get into a tussle with a criminal, you literally don't even know how to call for backup. You don't even know what your next stop is.
You don't even know where you're at.
You have to say, excuse me, can you stop beating me up for 1 second? I want to check the map.
You told me something once, which I've always remembered. You said that at that point you'd never even been on the subway, and here you are patrolling it.
Never been on the subway. I'm from Long Island, and all we did every St. Patrick's Day, once a year, we all got on the Long Island Railroad, went to Manhattan, got drunk.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Went to the porno booths, got a fake ID, and went home. Never been on the subway. And then there I was. I think I told you the first night I worked as a transit cop. People can Google this up. The fall of '86, the first night I worked, I did a 4 to 12. I went on duty at 4. I got off at midnight in Coney Island, Brooklyn. It looked just like it did in the movie The Warriors. It was crack addicts and crack hookers. And that night at 9 o'clock on my first shift, a hooker was killed with a bow and arrow.
That is gruesome.
And I'll never forget it because I was supposed to meet her at 12:15 that night, the rookie special. I lost my deposit, dog. I put $2 down on a $4 sex act.
I put out there that you were coming on, so I hit up the different social medias, and I said, former NYPD cop coming on, any questions? And
Go ahead.
Here's a question coming from Tommy, a.k.a. Throwback. He wants to know, how accurate is the French Connection?
Oh, it's funny you ask. That was before my time as a cop, and that movie kind of came out in the 70s where I was probably watching Jaws and Rocky. So I'm not good with the French Connection. I do know that those two guys existed in real life, the two cops, Popeye Doyle and the other guy. I don't know much about the movie. I do know that I was compared to Gene Hackman as an actor. Thank you, $1.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know much about the movie. It sounds like we should both watch it because it's it's.
I would love to watch it. And I think I do know that most New York City cops, at least the old timers, when asked what's the most realistic show, they always said Barney Miller. Oh,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, they always said Barney Miller. I never liked Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I thought that was the worst. Did you ever see that?
No, that's a little bbit after my time. That's more recent.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine just had a weird vibe to it. NYPD Blue was good.
Yeah, and I remember I must have been in 6th grade when Barney Miller was on, and I was like, oh, that looks like a fun job. You're in an office with a bunch of guys cracking jokes, and weirdos are coming in, and you're making fun and having, but of course, that's that's not the real world.
No, dude, being a New York City cop, I just told a friend of mine I was on the phone with, and I said it was thousands and thousands of funny people. I mean, the funniest people at Irish, Italian, Puerto Rican, Jewish, Black, and when I got on the job, the mutts of all these different races became cops. Like the lowball Italian guys, the low-life Irish guys. Like, I'm not dismissing us as people, but, we weren't the top dogs.
Yeah.
When I got on the job, you needed no felony convictions and a driver's license. That's it.
Wow.
So they got the vermin, dude. We were all misfits.
So Luca Palanca. I love Luca Palanca. What's up,
Oh,
Luca?
dude, I find that guy extremely funny.
He's funny. He's got the perfect name too, Luca Palanca. It sounds like somebody had made that name up for a movie. But Luca asks, ask him about the guardian angels. Now, all I know about guardian angels, the way I see it, I don't know anything about it. I just look at them and I'm like, oh, those are like helpers to the cops. Is that?
Dude,
Yeah.
exactly the opposite. How
Really?
dare you?
Really?
They're a bunch of weirdo lowlifes that deputize themselves and then would get involved in things that would escalate. Like they would tackle a guy because he's smoking a cigarette or drinking a can of beer, and they have no legal authority to do anything. And then I have to get involved, and it looks like, you know what I'm saying? They escalated the situation that I got to squash.
Ooh, I could see history. I could see history repeating itself, like on the West Coast. I think in West Hollywood they have like these, West Hollywood Patrol, and it's like, partners that walk up to people and, protect them.
It's weird. And watch this. I went to the NYPD Academy for 6 months. And then you go to the subway school. You go to Transit Police Academy for 6 weeks. So I went to 2 different police academies. And they had so watch this. The class about the guardian angels was 2 hours. The very first day. At noon is guardian angel class. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The instructor comes out at noon. He goes, guardian angels are a bunch of fucking assholes. Stay away. You have the next hour and 59-minute break. And he walked out. That's a true story.
Wow. So
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I was ready to go off duty. I had 3 days off. I didn't want nothing to do with police work. I get called off the train. A guardian angel tackled a guy that had a gun. So now I got my gun out. It's a hoopty scoop, and it winds up the guy had a cap gun. Remember the cap guns kids had little 6 rings that you just put in there?
Yeah.
It was a cap gun.
Oh no.
And now I'm involved in a hoopty scoop. All cops are coming. They hear gun over the radio. No, the guardian angels. However, I will say this. When I first started to get a little fame as a stand-up comedian, Curtis Sliwa had me on his radio show, and he was very nice to me.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, he's the one that I know, Curtis Sliwa.
Yeah, I don't want to drop names. Michael Caine told me it was rude.
Okay, I just looked them up on Wikipedia. It says, in 1992, Guardian Angels founder Curtis Sliwa issued a public apology for faking several subway rescues in the 1980s in order to get publicity for the group.
Yeah, he's kind of known as a charlatan. And I'm pretty sure if you read further, he was shot 5 times, and I think the hit was put out by John Gotti's son, who looks like yours truly. I look like junior and senior.
That's interesting. You look like junior and senior. Yeah. You're like the Temu version of John Gotti.
And John Gotti has 9 toes, and I have 9 toes. So it's kismet.
Oh, wow.
But we both have the white puffy hair now.
I know, like Paulie Walnuts on The Sopranos.
I got my wings.
You got your wings. Oh. Okay, here's another question. Let me see if there's any more police questions, because I got questions for a cop. Okay, here we go. This coming in from Galaxy Goddess asks, what was the most rewarding moment for him when he was on duty?
There was not a lot. You know, I always say the only life I ever saved was my own by quitting. And the closest I ever came to using my gun was a self-inflicted wound. However, I did help a lot of homeless people to the shelter. I did, every now and then when you just treat a homeless guy with respect. Me and my partner, Mike Venkus, got a call to the UN building. A guy was living like in a tunnel, like in a restricted area.
Yeah.
And we just said to him, hey, man, we'll get you something to eat. We'll take you to the shelter. And he said, you're the first 2 people to look me in the eye and talk to me like a human being in 5 years.
Wow.
So little things like that. I mean, I did save a guy. Me and Tony Bravata, my sergeant, got called. And the way I remember it was the guy was laying on the roadbed and a train was like rounding the corner. And I know I would never jump into the roadbed in front of a moving train, but somehow, some way, I remember us saving this guy. Maybe he reached up and we kind of yanked him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me throw some things at you. These are my own questions. Did you ever save any lost children where there was like a child wandering around and they go to a cop and, Mister, help me, I lost my mommy.
We did have a one incident, and we were working the train at 207 on the A in Harlem. It's the last stop. So when the train pulls in and it's the last stop, if someone doesn't get up and they're sleeping, they're usually homeless. So that's the people that we have to kind of target and say, would you like to go to the shelter? Would you like to go to the shelter? And a 10-year-old kid came to us. It was a runaway. So me and my partner, I kind of got stuck with the kid because once you get a runaway, the court's involved, social workers, parents, you know what I mean? You know, this ain't 2 hours. This is 2 days worth of overtime.
Yeah, which is good.
And I kind of got stuck with the kid, and it was like a 60-hour thing. And I had no money for food. My wife didn't have a car. I had no ATM card, no cell phone. I got jock itch from not taking a shower. But at the end, I helped the kid out. His name was Willis. And you know what's the last thing I said to him, right?
You said, what
you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis? You know, you're right, because I would think it's like, here's a cop, he's a hero, and you just described being on the downside, like being broke, this and that. You would think a cop would be like, here.
No, that hero shit and you're saving the world and all that, that's 1% of it.
Damn. Yeah.
Dude.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
If you took 10 New York City cops in 1986, 87, 88, or at least transit cops, if you took 10 of them, 8 of them were there to fuck off and just get a pension and get a paycheck, and they'll help if they have to, but they are not that concerned with police work.
It's funny because you see these TikTok videos or whatever, and they're like, here's a cop, playing, he's in his full uniform and playing basketball in the hood with, the white cop coming into the black neighborhood playing basketball and, and winning over hearts and minds. Like, I guess it was hard.
No, dude, when I was on the job, you cracked skulls. That's it.
You guys weren't out there playing.
Dude, guess what? Guess what transit cops carried before I got on the job? Guess what they would carry? This is a true story.
Guns, nightsticks.
They would carry an axe handle. They would carry an axe handle, and it would be in their hand the whole shift, not even on their gun belt.
Wow. Dude, that's like me out here I'm at the farm this week, and there was 2 wild dogs, and they were hanging around. And when was this? This was Sunday when nobody's around. No farmers are around. No railroad construction workers are around. Nobody's around, man. Nobody. And it was me, my wife, and my son. And we see these 2 black dogs. And yeah, my son actually was running. He was late, and he was running. He was jogging, trying to get his workout. And I saw, and the dogs perked up and looked at him, and we're like, what are they doing? And then they kind of started like not really chasing him, but just kind of like, where's he going? And they were kind of running. So the next day on Sunday is when I carry an axe handle out here. So I have my axe handle. He had his.
Funny you have one.
Yeah, I do. I have one. I got an axe handle, and I'm thinking about getting another one because it rained. It rained on that day, and we were like, "Whoa, what if lightning in the metal?" I don't want to get shocked.
Can you shoot these dogs or no? You'd be in trouble.
I don't. I mean, you probably could, but only if they attacked. I would, but I don't know. It's like if they really.
Dude, only if they attack might be too late.
I know, but I'll tell you this though. I went on YouTube earlier and I said, "What? How to fight how to fight a dog?" And there's several videos on YouTube on how to fight a dog. Like if it comes down to it, how do you fight one? And it said the biggest thing is remain calm. Don't turn your back to them and run away because they'll chase you. they said, if you move around all frantically, it freaks them out and it makes them more aggressive because they're scared and they don't know what you're doing. So I'm telling you, just reading that video, watching those videos, it helped me. There was one.
Yeah, good. I would have never thought that would, but even that little lesson,
and also having an axe handle with me. So my son had everyone had one. My wife had a stick. My son had a weapon, and I had my axe handle. And we're walking, we're getting closer, and I go, looks like there's one of those black dogs. And he was like sitting up, perched up, if you could picture. He's sitting straight up, just looking at us, getting closer. And as we got closer, he went,
oh no.
And I'm like, well, we got to keep walking that way before we turn left. And then I don't know if it was his mother or his buddy or his brother or whatever. There's another black dog, and the other black dog was more aggressive.
Oh, no.
The other black dog, both his ears went straight up on top of his head. Like, picture both ears going straight up on top of your head. Like, just ears straight up. And he was going, har, 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 like that. And then they kind of came, like, jogging towards us. But I took it more, my son was kind of nervous, obviously. But I took it more as being, like, kind of curious. But, like, I don't know, dude. I just felt relaxed. Plus, I had that axe handle. And they kept walking, and I faced them, and I kind of stood my ground, and I went, sit! And when I said sit, and I pointed my hand out like that, they both kind of retreated a little bit. And I'm like, okay, this is good.
Dude, watch this, though. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
You gotta somehow expel them from your life. This is all too close.
Yeah, totally.
Watch this. You could have 50 fucking axe handles. When two of those dogs come at you and they're determined, it's over.
I know.
It's over. So, I mean, think about fucking getting a shotgun and just taking their heads off. I know that's not easy to say, but...
No, here's what we did. I said sit, and then I kept walking backwards a little bit because they said don't turn your back. And then they kind of retreated a little bit, and then we kept walking. But then you're right. Our head's on a swivel. Like, every time we turned a corner, we're like, are they going to come out? And plus, as the sun goes down, we're like, they're going to be harder to see. Like, but
Is this the first time you've seen them, or they've lived there for years?
No, we've never seen these two black dogs. Never, ever. There's coyotes out here, but those guys are usually scared of you and run. However, here's the thing: the next day, there's more like farmers and workers and machines going beep beep, and there's construction, and so the dogs were gone, and we haven't seen them. And this is 4 days later, and my sister-in-law called. She called somebody. I don't know if it was animal control or somebody, and we know that, I don't know if that phone call had something to do with it or all the action and activity.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe they got rid of him.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in 4 days, so. But
Dude, on that note, just 10 minutes ago, I was on the phone with my new friend Leslie in Boca Raton, Florida.
Shout out to Leslie in Boca Raton.
My future ex-wife.
Yeah.
I told her that I live in a bit of a ghetto in North Hollywood, and for 15 years, Fran would always say, we should start walking.
Yeah.
And I never told Fran, I never wanted to get her nervous. I don't want to get attacked by a stray pit bull. I just don't walk around my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, pit bulls are... Dude, if these were pit bulls, I'd be really scared. Yeah, I mean...
What kind of dogs were these?
I'm not sure, but they weren't... I looked up... they were not Rottweilers. They were not German Shepherds. They were not pit bulls. I don't know what they were. They were big, though. And you see their paw prints? Because I see the muddy paw print. I'm like, that's a pretty big freaking... It's bigger than a coffee mug. I mean, it's just as big as if you put a coffee mug down on the...
no, dude, I don't even want to hear anymore.
Yeah, dude.
How about those Mets? Any more questions about being a cop?
It's funny. It's like
I'm in the movies, too.
Yeah, we're going to get to all that. It's funny. Like, they say put your problems in a circle, and then after you read everyone else's problems, you'll reach back for your own problems. You're like,
right.
I don't think you're like, more about this NYPD subway talk as opposed to...
No, yeah. Dude, I'm telling you as a friend, your wife is involved, your son is involved.
I know.
You're involved.
I know.
This is a situation, dude. I hate to say it. I know you want to not think about it, but the fact that you're staring them down and challenging them, like,
I know, telling them to sit, having my axe handle.
It's not. They ran past us 1,000 feet away.
No, it was.
Dude, even the verbiage of like. His ear went up, and I had my axe handle.
I
mean, what are we doing here, dog?
I know, dude. I know. I was like, yeah.
I read online how you can fight him off.
Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to wrap around your sweatshirt and give them your arm. And then, yeah, this is just crazy. My wife had pepper spray, I think, too. But I'm like, everyone's going to get panicked and the spray's going to be facing the wrong way.
Dude, and by the time that dog's close enough to pepper spray, he's already running 50 miles an hour at you.
I know. They said don't run because a human being runs 15 miles an hour. And not very long, and these dogs can go like 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. You're screwed, man. But
let's talk about Leslie Belloc.
Okay, so shout out to what you just said. That was interesting. By the way, I remember parking at your house once in North Hollywood, and I think there was a stray dog running around, and I was very nervous because it's one thing if you expect a dog and you have a weapon, but if you just get out of your car and there's a dog, you're just like, where'd that come from? And I was actually bitten once, and after you get bit by a random dog, it makes you a little bit more skittish. But I remember you and I talked about the random dogs in the neighborhood, but.
Yeah, I got, and I deliver furniture, so I'm in someone's house, a stranger's house, once or twice a week. So I've had a lot of dog incidents, and I got bit twice. I got bit in the back of a calf over by La Brea in Wilshire by a little dog. He bit into my calf, and then this really big, like bull mastiff, pit bull, coyote, Chiena mix, and I just put my hand out, and he just bit down on the back of my hand, just enough to put 2 holes in my hand. And while he bit my hand, he looked up to me and said, "I am the captain now." And then the woman tells me we just got him out of the shelter that day. Like I shouldn't have put my hand out.
Oh shit! Like it's your fault. Drake Nelson asks a question, and I don't know if he was joking or if he's really serious. He asks, "What's it like to be a snitch?" Does he mean on the cops being snitches, or does he mean criminals being snitches? I don't know what that means.
Oh, I'm not sure. I think he probably means as a cop. But if you had any reputation that you went to the man behind another cop's back, they really turned on you. I mean, some people got put into really shitty positions where they had to say something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's something minor, you're not going to volunteer like, oh, so-and-so.
I mean, watch this. I was with a cop named Willie Rodriguez, and he committed a felony. While he was with me on duty in uniform, he committed a felony. So, what was I going to do? Rat him out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha. Allegedly, that was his name, and allegedly, it was a felony. I like how you just pulled that name up out of. No, you're a creative guy. That was a.
Yeah, no, I made that up.
That's good. Now, what about this? Somebody says, "Oh yeah, this is our buddy Jeffrey Peterson. He knew it was you and he goes, I go, any questions for a cop? He goes, Ozzy or Dio?
Yeah, Jeff is a great guy. I love Jeff. He knows this, and you know this. I hate to say it, but I have to listen to Ronnie James Dio every 7 hours, like a heroin addict.
Yeah.
And Ozzy, I can go 24, 48 hours without.
Still, it's still, wow, there's just something about it, huh? Just hearing that music.
There's just something about, and dude, you discover new Ozzy and new Dio daily on YouTube. There's dozens of songs you never heard of.
Songs and concerts and live performances.
Everything. And interviews.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's a good one. Here's a good question. This is from someone named Flobito. He goes, if it's John DiResta, which it is, ask him how he would have done season 2 of the sitcom DiResta on UP. And by the way, before we go any further, let's tell the audience, you had a sitcom. Okay, so real quick, let's catch them up to that real quick, and then we'll get to Flobito's question. So you're a cop for 12 years?
I was transit for 8, NYPD for 4, total 12.
12, and you were a funny guy. You were like, I want to be a comedian. I want to do stand-up. Somehow you got into stand-up, and from stand-up, I want to say you created a one-man show?
Yes, a one-man show called Beat, a Subway Cops comedy, and the theme of the one-man show was how when you become a civil servant everyone thinks you're set for life, but they forget that you have to work nights, weekends, get divorced, lose your hair, go bankrupt, become an alcoholic. Like, that was the downside, like you mentioned earlier.
And from there, somehow, how'd you get the sitcom? How do you go from being?
Well, the one-man show kind of caught on. It got good. It was parts that were acted, parts that were silent, parts that were directly to the audience, like a stand-up. So it was like there was slides, there was video, it was multifaceted, and so it caught on. And the people from Hollywood started to come look at it, like casting people.
Dude, that's incredible when you really let's slow down and think about that. You're doing this one-man show, not in Hollywood. You're doing it in New York somewhere, right? Like off Broadway? Like
on 42nd Street, near all the porno booths.
So that means it's not even in the main drag area, I guess.
No, it was off the beaten path. Like, you had to have a helmet to get to this place.
And somehow, some way, they started seeking it out and looking at it and watching and found out about you. It got
good reviews in the New York Times, the Daily News, and I started to get on like a couple little talk shows about it, and there was a buzz. For lack of a better term, there was a buzz. The next thing you know, Disney's there, Warner Brothers is there.
Wow.
Even what's his name? Who's the guy that's in jail for raping everybody? Harvey Weinstein's company.
Harvey Weinstein's company. Wow.
Well, Harvey Weinstein met me in the green room, and I don't want to say, but he touched me in a bad place.
Where's that?
Jersey City.
Yikes.
No, Harvey Weinstein's company came, so everyone came, and all of a sudden everybody thought I was the next Roseanne, the next Kevin James, the next Ray Romano, the next John Belushi on TV, the next Jackie Gleason, and I got a very big sitcom deal with Disney, and I resigned the NYPD March 28th, 1998.
Wow. When you signed a deal, is it like when a musician gets a record deal and they're like, sign this contract and here's a bunch of money, a lump sum of money?
Yeah, there was a couple of $100,000 involved, and it was in increments. But I did get the initial check. I was literally eating cat food. I was stealing cookies for my kids from the homeless outreach sandwich bags. That's how broke I was.
So, yeah, remember I said when you found a lost child and you didn't really even have any money on your credit card to buy, like, a dinner or nothing? So,
nothing.
Was it wild to go from being broke to, like, here's, sign this contract, you're in show business?
I got a check for $50,000.
Wow.
And paid a lot of debt, paid off a few people I owed money to, and we rented a nicer house, we bought a nicer car. Yeah, we were white trash with money. It was like, I mean, when I look back on it, because the money's all gone, it was kind of like winning the lotto, but I earned it. I mean, I'm doing a one-man show, dude, that started at 8. This is 5-6 nights a week. It started at 8. I said, thank you, good night, at 9:05. I had to be on duty in the homeless outreach unit at 9:30.
Damn.
I had to jump in a car and drive 50 blocks in Manhattan. And I was late every night, and everyone knew I was doing an off-Broadway play, and they were all pissed at me.
Oh, yeah. Because they're like, that could have been us. What the fuck's he doing over there? Yeah. But you did it, though. God, you couldn't even really say goodbye to the folks, huh? Because you had to get out of there. Good night, everybody.
No, dude, I literally had to run through the lobby some nights and run past fucking, this is from Disney, this is from...
Wow.
And then Tom Snyder had me on 4 times in 1 year. Tom Snyder was on after Letterman. You did a one-on-one interview for 20 minutes, 25 minutes you had to fill.
That's huge. And that's huge, especially
no
back
audience.
Then. Wow, that was big back then. Big now, but it was huge because there was less options back then. This is pre-social media. This is like a big deal. Damn.
And not only was it a big deal to be on TV, but to if you do the Tonight Show or Letterman, it's a 7 or 8 minute sketch.
Yeah.
And this is 25 minutes you got to fill.
Okay, so Flobito's question. So you went one season, and I guess you did 17.
We did one season of DiResta. I didn't find it that funny. And when you sell your TV show idea, you sell the idea. You have no say at all. You have no say. No say. There's even been comedians that sell their life story, and they get replaced as an actor. The lead is someone else.
I've heard of people writing their autobiography, and then when the audiobook comes out, they hire a different person to read it. Like somebody else reads it, like not even their voice. And especially if it's a comedian, you want to hear their voice, not like,
So season 2, if I would add, I would have just wanted to make the show more wild. You know, Disney bought a New York City transit cop that hated the job, that couldn't wait to smoke pot, and loved heavy metal and garage sales. And all of a sudden on the sitcom, this happy-go-lucky guy, honey, I found a wallet. Should we return it? I don't know. Let's ask the black couple next door. She's a lawyer. He's an astronaut. They know better than us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean, dude?
Well,
it was
John, to clear your conscience, you better return that wallet. Okay.
It was very hokey. It was horse shit. I hate to say it.
All right, let me ask you a brutally honest question. Have you met fans?
I'm not gay.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. We kind of already knew that, but okay. Brutally honest question. Have you met people that were like not just had seen this show? Was anybody a fan of the show where they're like, I love that show. It got me through hard times. Was it?
No, very few people. You know who's the biggest fan? And he's listening. Jeff Peterson was a fan of DiResta.
That's cool.
Jeff Peterson, very few people. So much so that I've never been to a transit police reunion. They have them all the time in Florida, Charlotte, Carolina, in New York, in Florida, all up and down the transit reunion. And these guys, they live for it. It's the only, they can't wait to all get together. So I went to one, and I'll never go again. It was just, I felt like everyone knew who I was, or a lot of guys did, and went out of their way to not say hello to me like they were going to show me.
That
it was weird.
So you know what? So back to your point, you must have been right about the show, and it's not your fault, but like it not being good. They were sounds like they wrote a show and created a show for an audience that didn't exist. It was like this
They
weird...
just created an unrealistic, like the sitcoms written by 10 guys that wrote on other sitcoms, and it's all very formulaic. I'm doing an episode and I'm watching According to Jim, and it's the same episode. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, the same theme. But so watch this. So at this transit police reunion, only about 2 years ago, is about a good 70. Probably about good 300, 400, 500 cops. Hey, John DiResta. Hey, you remember me? Yeah. What are you doing here? I thought you lived in Florida, California. What are you doing here? So I go outside to use the cell phone. And there's one guy smoking a cigarette, old Italian guy with a hook nose. He's eating a cigarette. He goes, you look familiar. I said, I was on the job. I was transit. He goes, where'd you work? I said, District 1, District 34, District 3 on punishment, and the homeless outreach unit, the Skell Squad. He goes, wait a minute. You the guy that had the fucking sitcom? I go, I am. He goes, dude. We laughed every Tuesday morning at how ridiculously stupid that was. You know that, right?
Oh man! See,
It was just hokey. It's hard to make the New York City subway look like the New York City subway on a sitcom.
Yes, that sucks, right? Because it's like other shows have done a good job at that kind of thing, and they actually go on to like fame and glory. Like is his name Dennis Perino or something or? Dennis.
Kevin James and Ray Romano and Seinfeld are worth $1 billion each.
Yeah.
And I'm eating cat food.
And toilet paper soup.
I eat cat food, dude. I fry it up with a little garlic and onion.
Meow. No, I look at for example, you look at like Eric Estrada from Chips. He's always invited to like police functions and fundraisers.
Right, he's been dining out on that credit for 50 years.
But they love him, and I guess it was, I don't know, it must have been realistic or something. There's people that got jobs as cops, and they're like, I love Punch and John, Chips. I mean, it's like that. I get that was like a well-written show, and it was loved. But
there was something. Watch this.
Yeah,
it had wings. It had lift. It lifted people's spirits. It had something that you can't even explain what it is.
I know. I bet you there's these people that watched Karate Kid and Cobra Kai and all that kind of stuff. They probably got into martial arts because of that, and I'm sure they've met the stars, and they're like, I got into martial arts because of you.
Dude, on a lighter note, I did a couple of stand-up shows in Long Island in November, right around Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And I did 2 shows at a real club, and then the Sunday night was at an Elks club. It was a benefit for the local football team that I was on, my high school. And that night, 3 different people pulled me to the side and said, I'm funny now 40 years later because of you.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You taught us how to be funny when we was kids.
Oh, so now that's cool. See.
So I mean, my reach is there, but it wasn't with the sitcom.
It was with everything else. Yeah.
And then, dude, you're in Miss Congeniality. You're in a movie with Robert De Niro that no one's heard of. Like, you know, it's weird how I have, you know, this what looks like, I hate to use the word fame, but I've been in a couple of movies. But at the end of the day, I'm just a schmuck from Long Island that eats his toenails.
Gross. If this was Disney, we would cut that out and have you eating jelly beans instead.
Rainbow jelly beans.
Rainbow jelly beans and Skittles, and then on Tuesday morning, the other cops would laugh at you. We don't do that. We don't eat Skittles. Oh, my God.
Dude, this guy couldn't wait to eat. You had to see the smile come over his face.
Dude,
you're the guy with the sitcom. That thing was fucking ridiculous, dog.
Dude, all people want. Let me, you know what, guys? If there's anyone here listening and you approach a comedian after the show, just tell them they're funny. Loved your show. You're so funny. They don't need anything else. You know, like I did I was on the road recently and it was sold out and it was sold out and that's great, but there was no green room at this club. So the only place you could eat was in another part of the nightclub, and that's where the people were waiting to come into the comedy club for the second show.
Oh.
So I found this little. I said, well, let me sit at the bar, but I'll find a part of the bar that nobody's at. And dude, you know they see you. You know you're just in a sold out show. So I'm eating my steak dinner. It was really delicious, by the way. And this guy comes over and he goes. Oh, is this how they pay you? You do a good show and they give you a steak dinner? And he could tell I wasn't really in the mood to talk or joke around.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I'm just kidding, man. Enjoy your meal. I was like, all right, man, take it easy. And then like 5 minutes later, another guy comes over and he goes, hey, so the faster you eat, I heard the funnier you are. Looks like you're going to be pretty funny tonight.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, get away from me! You know, you just want that space. Like, come on, give me a green room. I just want to be. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, dude. I like sitting in the green room before and after and during.
Yeah, I don't mind. I love talking to people, but I just want to eat in privacy. You don't want to because what happens if you're like eating, you know, green beans and hey, can we get a selfie and you got stuff in your teeth? You just come on. You know what I'm saying? But
and comedy is weird. I don't think we've ever discussed this out loud. It puts people into a mood, whether it's before the show or after a good show that you just opened them up. You made them help release. You helped them. So now they're trying to be festive and funny in their own way, and they're not sometimes.
Sometimes they are, but sometimes it's like.
But I mean, we've all had the racist joke whispered in our ear by someone that's completely drunk and stinks of alcohol.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They get touchy-feely on you, and it's like, dude, stop. You know?
Well, watch this. I don't think I've ever told anyone this. Every now and then I would do a homecoming show, and my dad was a real nudge. You know what a nudge is? That you really, John's coming out. You got to show support. So he's inviting, not even inviting. He's like forcing aunts and uncles that are in wheelchairs. You know, like we're forcing them. So after some of my shows, you know, hey, good job, hey, good, nice to see you, hey, transit, hey, good, and then I get someone grab my arm. Tell your dad I was here. That's it. Not you were funny. You had a good time. Tell your dad we were here.
I get credit for showing up. Yeah. Tell him I was here. I get overtime. Yeah. I want to ask you something before we jam. We got to keep it moving, but I want to thank you for coming on. Okay, so I found this book, and I've asked the last few guests about this. This book is from it says 1936. Remember when, a nostalgic look back in time. So this is from 1936. What do you think a house cost in 1936?
Oh, I can tell you exactly. $1,950.
Wrong. You want another guess? It's a lot higher.
Oh, 6,700.
I'll just tell you, it was 3,925. Okay, here we go. Movie ticket. Do you want to guess, or should I tell you?
35 cents.
Ooh, close. You're like the closest. 25 cents.
Wow.
Average rent in 1936.
$65 a month.
$24.
Okay.
United States postage stamp.
1 cent.
Ooh, you're really close. 3 cents. I remember I was traveling the country about 30 years ago. I did like these big college tours. We'd fly across the country, get a rental van, and go from school to school. I got to see almost every state except for Hawaii. And I would mail postcards to my grandparents. And I don't know what stamps were back then, but it wasn't that much. And neither was the postcard. But somebody told me, they go, you don't even have to buy a postcard. You could just get like a recipe card, like an index card. And as long as you put the address, then you can just mail.
Oh, I never knew that.
You can mail that. I did it like once, and then I thought, what am I doing? How cheap am I? Like, I mean, I'm in these beautiful areas like Vermont and Maine and Florida. Like, let me just get a normal postcard from the hotel lobby. But yeah.
Well, watch this. I'm so old. I remember cigarettes being 55 cents. 55 cent cigarettes. And Sabatino's Pizza. I worked there in the summer of 1977. I got paid 2 slices an hour. I gained 40 pounds in 8 weeks.
Damn.
And in the sign, it was a neon sign that said slice, 35 cents.
Wow. That's cool. I remember as a kid, you'd find money on the ground and you're like, I could actually buy something with that. Like back when I was a kid, if you found a quarter, you could go get a candy bar at the local liquor store.
Yeah.
Then eventually they moved the candy bars up to 35 cents.
When I started drinking at about 15, a 6-pack of Schmitz was 99 cents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Schmitz.
Would you rather know, do you have any idea what I don't even know, like a gallon of milk was back then, or?
No, I do know this. I share a workshop with some Mexican dudes, and they always help me move stuff, and they give me food every day, home cooked Mexican food. So I buy them beer, and I know that a 6-pack of Modelo's in a can was $11 today, just a 6-pack.
Well, you know what?
And a 12-pack is 18.
Yeah, that's okay. I was gonna say, if you put it into Starbucks terms, that's because Starbucks you can usually get, that's a pretty good deal. Like you'd be better off getting them some Modelo than if you bought them like 6 lattes or 6 Americanos.
They ain't drinking lattes, dog. All day long, crunching up cans and throwing bottles in the garbage pail all day long. And they're dealing with tools.
Do they recycle? Do they recycle the cans, or they just throw it away?
They're just everywhere. Everywhere you look, it looks like the sailors on leave.
Wow. They're
really good woodworkers. They make stuff that you go in their workshop, dude, it looks like Jurassic Park.
Oh, last question, and this is from my son. He wanted to know, how did you get in? So that's what I'm saying. You had these different lives. You're an actor, stand-up comic, but first you were a cop and woodworking. My son, Austin, a.k.a. Austin, the bass boss, he wanted to know, how did you get into woodworking? Like, how did that happen? How did you get into that line?
I grew up in Long Island in a town called Woodmere. My dad was the local handyman and woodworker. My dad had a woodworking shop in our basement. So from being very, very, very little kids, we started making stuff out of wood and plexiglass and, making bombs and guns and fake knives. Like, we were always tinkering with woodwork. And then, so I was handy with a saw and the wood and the drill. And then about 30 years ago, I was just a stand-up comedian and a cop and a security guard, and we moved to an unusual spot in Central Valley, New York, and there was a big barn on this property, and I see this guy coming and going each day, and I'm like, I don't see what he's doing, so I went over to the barn, opened the door, and there was 1,000 old wooden planks, and he said, I'll give you $10 an hour, and he taught me how to make rustic furniture. So Pete Van Trump, is his name. He taught me how to make the furniture.
Wow.
And when I moved to LA, I had 2 or 3 really good years where I never even thought of being a woodworker. It wasn't even in my mind. It was just a part-time job I had. And then I went broke out here in Hollywood right after 9/11. The phone stopped ringing. I went broke, and I made my wife. She said, "Hey, can you make me just a table for when you walk in the house, a key table? You throw your keys in your cell phone."
Yeah.
Made her one table. Never, ever, ever thought of it as a business. And some old hag next door tried to give a script to me. "Can you get this to Sandra Bullock's?" I said, "Look, I haven't seen her in 4 years. I got my own problems. Can you get this to Sandra Bullock's?" And she had her foot in the door. She wouldn't let me shut the door of my own home.
Yeah.
And she looked over my shoulder and goes, "Where'd you get that little handmade crafty table?" I said, "I made it." She goes, "How much if I wanted one?" And it was about $10 worth of wood. I said, $100. She said, "I'll take 2. Let me go get let me go get the money. I'll pay you up front."
Wow.
And that was it. That was the birth of this business.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. And I think you just probably got better and better like anybody would at something. And
Well, then I just had to take jobs. You know what I mean? You get better. Any craft you do over and over and over, and then you take, you stake the job. In other words, "Hey, can you make this cabinet? I've never made one before, but I need the $1,000. Yes. And then you had to learn how to do it.
What's the most you ever got in over your head where they were like, "Can you make this, this, and this, and we'll pay you a lot"?
Yes, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
A woman wanted a big white fence, like 100 feet of like plastic white fence, not wood. You know how you buy the sections?
Yeah.
And you got to dig them into the ground?
Yeah.
And that's not the hard part. Then there was like a gate, like a huge swinging plastic gate. And she gave me $1,500 up front. And when I went and looked at it and realized I have no idea what I'm doing, I didn't have the money to give her back.
Yeah.
Dude, I had to pay her off. She let me pay her off like $200 a month for like a year. But there's been a few like that. So now, dude, all I do is make benches and tables. That's it.
That's cool. So you got it down. Well, John, thank you for coming on the Pocket Party podcast. And you guys, thank you for listening. Do us a favor. Tell at least one friend. Tell one friend, or maybe two, and leave a comment. No matter how you're listening to this, go on over to my YouTube channel. Leave a comment on my YouTube channel on this episode. And it lets me know you care, and it helps the algorithm. John, did you have something to say?
No, I was just going to say, tonight was a fantastic night. I spoke to my new friend Leslie in Florida.
Shout out to Leslie.
On FaceTime. And it was going to be 1 minute, wind up being about an hour, and we had a lot of laughs. We're both from Long Island. We both sound like we're retarded.
Yeah, nice.
And so between talking to her and then talking to you, tonight's a fun night.
Nice.
Thank you.
Dude,
yeah.
Thank you so much. Pass this episode over to Leslie, and shout out to Leslie. And you said Boca Raton?
Boca Raton, Florida, Leslie. And also shout out to Darren Carter. If there's one comedian that's helped me over the last 3 or 4 years, since my wife went to the big flea market in the sky, it's been Darren Carter. 1,000%.
My man.
For real.
Dude, thank you, buddy. Thank you. And hey, don't forget my son Austin. He curated that theme song for you, man. He played it for me the other day, and I'm like, damn, that's badass. You gotta keep putting it out there.
I'm his biggest fan.
Man, that metal. Oh, and he's writing a song. He wrote a song a long time ago. He's only 17, but he's been working on it. And every time he's adding little pieces and little guitar solos and this other part. It's called. Well, I don't even know if I should say what it's called, but he played it today, and I'm like, dude, this is sounding good. It's like really good. He's harmonizing with themselves and doubling the vocals and.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
He's got. You should be very proud because I have a son and 2 daughters, and I know to raise a kid is not easy, and to keep them on the straight and narrow, he's a great kid.
Thank you, buddy.
You should be very happy.
I am. It's funny. I started out getting him to do push-ups and sit-ups and everything, and now I'm doing my daily 100 push-ups, but he's got me beat on that. He's like, whatever. I could brag about him all night. But anyways, hey, John, thank you so much. And congrats on everything. And we'll do another one soon. Thank you.
You got to keep in touch with yourself.
All right, buddy. Well, Look at you. You made it all the way through. Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast. Pocket Party Podcast. Remember that theme song? Love you guys so much. If you want to help me out, do me a favor and check out my link tree. And I think there's some donate buttons on there. Or you can hire me for Cameo. I do personalized celebrity videos. I'll do shout outs for you. If it's somebody's birthday or anniversary, I'll do some I like my women like I like my. I'll do them for you. And I'll say the person's name and all that good stuff. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks for letting us be a part of it. Darren Carter, Party Starter. See you soon. I'm coming to Atlanta. I'm coming to Oxnard. I'm coming to San Jose. Love you. Bye.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.